get initiated yeah, there's no save, and there's no boat buff. It probably means one or two people are dying inside that chronosphere, which means there's no chance for an infest save after the chrono is down.
Yep.
So yeah, starting the tempo here for Virtus.pro. Gotta win the lanes, so those the Storm and the Kunkka succeed, and then you gotta take that tempo and you know, be the aggressor at all times, kind of.
But I think if they can start fights on their, like, start these skirmishes on their terms with Storm jumping people, the fight's not so straightforward for Navi. Like, you don't want to chrono on top of your own supports who are getting jumped and like, you can stampede, but it's not guaranteed to get you away from Frostbite, X, Vortex, this type of stuff. So I can see it. I can see the Storm going ham. He has some extra mana as well.
That's true. As much as you hate on Crystal Maiden, it's been the most popular support, I think, maybe in the last, like, 2 weeks or so.
Her laning's pretty reliable if you play it well.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's what people are liking. Like, what are you going to pick that's going to blind win the lane as a 5 in the current meta? These days of, like, Treant Protector and stuff like this are kind of gone. I mean, there's Chen, but obviously Chen is also first phase ban.
Yeah. Why can't you do the melee 5s anymore?
I mean, you can, but they're not guaranteed to win you the lane. Like, almost every 4 is ranged in the meta. They're all pretty fast. They all have pretty strong nukes. It just doesn't feel as good.
I guess there's some offlaners that are kind of meta that really, you know, dumpster those heroes, like Viper and Razor especially.
I mean, even just like Mars and Timbers and stuff kind of just own all the melee 5s. Centaurs, you're not going to outtrade him. It's way too hard. So runes get split.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised to see this Pugna go up a bit more too. Like, we've been seeing this hero a bit. He seems to fit that role. Like a ranged 5 who can pretty reliably do well on most lanes. Give you some, like, decent spells.
What happened to this
game.
hero? He was all the rage. Like, everybody was spamming in his 5. Like 6 months ago? Did it get nerfed somehow that I don't remember?
And then his his like mana to allies got nerfed or something, right?
I'll look it up real quick.
I'm pretty sure something about life drain to allies got nerfed.
735 decreased agility by 3, increased cooldown on Nether Ward by 5 seconds. Took away his 20 movement speed talent. There's some 734 nerf in there as well. Actually, some of them are buffs. Yeah, I don't really see anything major that, like, actually kicked this hero out too much. Mana Restoration. Oh, I found the line you were talking about. 733E. So this is almost a full-on year ago. Mana Restoration on full health decreased from number to number. Oh, wow. It's by a lot. Level 1, it used to be 120 mana per second. Now it's 60.
Yeah, there you go. That was what killed the battery strat. They just fell off.
I see.
But I think the rest of his laning and everything is still pretty strong. So he might...
Yeah.
I could see him make a resurgence here. So far, he's doing pretty well. Tempted to pull top, but able to contest it. Even lane for Yuragi early on, which he's happy about. And his off lane for Navi is gonna free farm here for sure. I don't think Lifestealer Maiden are stopping Techie Centaur, so I think both side lanes here for Navi looking pretty damn solid to start.
Yeah. This duo, I'm not sure if I've ever seen this duo before. Gyrocopter Kunkka. It's a pretty funny lane, right? They just show up to lane, immediately Flak Cannon and Typebringer. You know, it's just like they clear out the creep wave pretty quickly and do some harassment damage. Problem is they're against Faceless Void in that regard. So it's not like the harassment really ultimately does too much. FNG is going to get run down for the first blood as Nephrit manages to catch up to him. Slow-ass Crystal Maiden dies yet again in lane.
See, would you rather have the Maiden or would you rather have the Pugna here?
Well, there is
Pugna
a
is dying
massive
too
difference in
fast.
their movement speed.
Exactly. It's literally 50. More than a brown
50
boots.
movement speed more. That's so insane.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Should free up some rotations. FNG will refill the bottle mid. Sanctity needs some help now after that.
Yeah,
He's
he
down
does.
on the
He needs
regen
a-
and down on the CS. Get bullied.
Well, maybe Sanctity would rather have a Crystal Maiden on his team. That way she would die and TP mid to refill his bottle.
Yes, the classic my 5 is winning the lane too hard, so I'm losing mid. Classic mid player problem.
That sounds about right.
I mean, these side lanes are just going really well for Navi. It is gonna make up for this mid, but this is what VP want. Like, they want Storm to be the strongest hero in the game. Kunkka to get what he wants. I think this lane isn't going as well as VP wanted, but again, they put this like flex gyro up here, so I don't think you can ask for too much.
Yeah. Might be a case
They're
of
gonna
too
have to use
much
Storm.
flex.
Yeah, it's the downside of this gyro opener. You just have some dude flacking up here. I don't know how useful it's going to be. Just going to be how much farm he can get and get some like early aura items.
Yeah.
Malady almost killing him there.
Yeah, Melody's kicking some ass up here. It is giving Noticed quite a lot of extra regen, but again, can't really threaten Yuragi, and Yuragi's just free farming as a result. They're gonna go for the kill now on a Malady. Don't have level 3 on the gyrocopter, so that missing damage is gonna cost them this kill. Sayush is going to help him get the kill, but will die in the process of time dilation. So ultimately, still pretty good for Na'Vi as Yuragi gets further ahead.
Yeah, he is not sad about that one bit. Kills on lane for a Faceless Void as the Maiden goes down a second time, found on that side by the tree line. They never learn, Austin.
Crystal Maiden's never like.
And-
I mean, to some degree, it's you kind of have to play in the side jungle sometimes, right? You got to block some camps and unblock some camps.
Yeah, but that's the weakness of Maiden. She's like the worst hero at contesting pull advantage. If you just threaten this big camp, which is what Zayat's been doing down here, you force the Maiden off the lane, and then she just insta-dies. Because she's too slow to get out of the reach. So they've done a decent job pulling FNG into that jungle area. They got 2 kills on him. Decent amount of XP. He can leave the Centaur alone. Phase Boot's already done for Nefrit down here, which is insane how strong he is right now. And this means you can help mid, try and flip some of this momentum back. Levels are actually pretty even for Sanctity, but he's just really behind on the CS and would have liked that power rune, but he will not get it.
At least it wasn't one of the real dangerous runes for a Storm Spirit. No Arcane Rune, no regen. Instead, just got an Invis. Not that big of a deal.
I mean, it's time to play around this Storm to some degree, right? I think you either have to bring him top, kill this Void, ideally with the level 6 Kunkka timing, or you're just going to collapse mid with supports if you think you can kill this Pango. But I feel like one of these 2 moves for VP in the next minute, you have to think about it, because you're not doing anything in this lifesteal lane, and you don't want to just leave Kunkka up here until he gets chrono rotated on.
How do you know that as a player inside of the game? Like, how do you make that read? Is that just a communication of, like, how's our side lanes doing? And the support's like, I can't really do anything here. Or is it the Storm being like, I'm strong, guys, let's make a move on me?
I mean, it's like, to me, it's the game plan, right? Who are you trying to get to a position to win you the game? And what's going to progress your game the most? Because sometimes you have kills available, but they don't actually do anything. Those are the hardest to understand. In this game, I think getting Storm kills is the best thing that can happen for VP.
Oh,
Instead, they're going to get moved on.
She's dead.
And so this is the problem with like FNG being down here. If he wants to be down here and he can prevent that move, I think it's valuable. But he's not preventing anything happening here. And he's not creating any pressure because they can't go on Nefrit down here ever. So, like, what is the Maiden doing down here, right? It's just He's waiting for his lifesteal to die so he can clean up his range creeps, you know?
Yeah, it's not a particularly inspiring game plan. Means he's not here for this move on mid, which Sanctity will be able to walk off no problem. It was a move that protected the power rune. Squadix is going to get a regen. So, big rune for them to play around potentially.
That's a huge rune. Salvages all of that resource expenditure mid. Do have boat up now. I don't know. I feel like VP are just, they're playing a little passive. Like they're expecting moves to be made on them. And they're trying to counteract them, but I think this is your time to like take an advantage and use it. I don't think Navi are that strong in a fight where you can start on the Pango or the Void.
Right.
Like there's a Stampede, but you have lockdown.
Yeah. Crystal Maiden FNG did go through the gate and is looking for a move on Uragi, but frankly, I mean, he's got Tread's double Wraithman. He is not that easy of a kill anymore. They have the lockdown. If they can get him into a position, hit him with the X, get him with the Torrent Boat, then Frostbite, all while a Rocket Barrage happens, maybe they get that kill, but I still think it's close.
The one upside is they know the Pango has no resources right now. Sancti has to go to base. There's no teleport on this Pugna showing mid. So if you want to take a fight in one of these side lanes, now's the time to do it. Navi effectively missing 2 heroes off the map.
Yeah.
I think you go on this Void. I think he dies. He is very tanky. He had a pretty good laning phase, but
Dire's top tower is under
Wow,
attack.
they have
ran into him, huh?
started without the Kunkka. Maybe a bit of a symptom of it just being nighttime, running into each other in the jungle. Bad situation while the Lifestealer continues to get threatened in this matchup. I mean, this lane just went so well that a matchup that I think is usually perfectly fine for Lifestealer, the Lifestealer versus Centaur, is going very poorly.
he's doing okay. But yeah, there's just not much play down here for VP. And they're going to bring the Pango to look for
Dire's
something on
is
the
under attack.
room, but there's nobody home.
Well, it looks like to me SquadX just wants to play for his Orchid timing. He says, I'm not going to make any moves until I hit Orchid. Once I hit Orchid, there's going to be this long period of time where he can shut down the Faceless Void or the Pango, easy support kills, so on and so forth.
He's going to have it pretty fast here. It'll be strong. I mean, the thing this top move did is they didn't get the Void kill, but they're going to get the tower off it because Uragi is too afraid to go back and defend this on his own. So it did yield some decent map control. I don't think VP are too sad about that. That's the thing about making the right move. If you make the right move, even if it doesn't work, like, it's still good. You still get the proper map progression out of it, which is important. Whereas them leaving this Lifestealer bottom, nothing happened to Kiritich, right? He defends his tower. He continues to farm up. It's hard for them to go on him under the tower, which is the strength of this hero. So I think this FNG going top made a pretty big difference here. And it's going to reflect the net worth. And it's going to push them towards this decent Orchid timing. It's closing in on it, 600 off.
Yeah. One downside, there shouldn't be any real surprise about it, just because this super deep, nice ward that Zayat's got down. They're watching the Storm Spirit farm this entire time. Zayat, who is also stacking up Triangle again and again for, last time it was the Pango. I assume it'll continue to be for the Pango, who's trying to get to that Diffusal Blade timing. They're going to smoke up with him, not actually wait for the Diffusal Blade. They're going to head up top and run right into the Gyrocopter right away. So Sayush, very dead, but it also means he protects his Kunkka from a rotation, so not the worst in the world.
Dire's middle tower is under
Kind of a weird smoke, but I guess they were trying to use Chrono on a core up here. Still space for the Lifestealer bottom, though he does lose his tower to this Pugna backstab.
has fallen.
Nice play by Malady. Gets the Courier as well. Dances it off. Did not
It's going to be
deny
a
the
standard
armlet being finished.
Lifestealer build. Armlet,
Yep.
Radiance.
I don't think there is
Why
another
don't we
build,
see Armlet Deso anymore?
Well, Look at this fast infest TP play.
Yeah, and it's
And
too
delivering it.
late. 12-minute power.
They got the Orchid delivered though.
Yeah, that's how they're going to go for it. They get the Pugna kill. They do not get the amp damage. Kiritich actually wanted to go for more, but Squadix did not, so there goes that. Kiritich is still hanging around. He's like, I don't want to brawl. They re-smoke up. Virtus.pro looking for another one. Still going to go for this. They have back-to-back Orchid kills. They're trying to get the Pango this time around. The torrent lands on the two of them. Beautiful stuff. Pulled them in, and the techies, Zions just jumps right into that splash.
That is the danger, as you said, going into this Kunkka team fight with the techies is a nightmare. And that was some really nice fast play from VP. The second that Orchid got finished, they TP the gyro mid off that death to deliver it. So it's instantly there.
Oh, is that what it was?
TP, yeah, then you had the Lifesteal TP infest. So this rune play, I just don't think Navi were expecting it. Like, you're looking at this Storm, he doesn't have Orchid yet, then suddenly he's infest Orchid on you at this 12-minute rune. Backs up, gets some mana off FNG, and they instantly re-smoke, insta-re-jump with the cooldown coming back up, get a second silence. Just beautiful play around the Storm Spirit, which is exactly what you want to do with this kind of lineup. Like, this is how you're going to open up a lead. Because there is no answer to Squadix this game. Like, your lockdown just is not going to be there. And he has extra HP, has extra mana to play with. You have to play for the later portions of the mid game where the Faceless Void can come into the fights, Chrono the Storm, Chrono the Lifestealer, clean up, give you numbers advantage. But Yuragi, he's having a really good game. He's just not ready to do that yet. Which means your window as VP is still open here. Especially with full resources on the Storm Spirit.
Natus has his Blade Mail and is pretty quickly working towards an Aghanim Scepter. We're going to get a Kaya next for Squadix. We already talked about Kiritich and his Radiance. The support side of things, I was wondering what a 4-position gyrocopter would be building. It's just going to be a mech, so nothing super special there. I assume he's also going to buy out his shard as soon as it hits 15 if he has the gold for it. May not, though. Especially if they fail to get a kill here. Turn around on the other side of things. FNG just drops the Freezing Field. Malady drops the Life Drain. And the Life Drain beats out the Crystal Maiden with ease.
They just broke on an unfortunate fog point there with the Centaur. Did get the Faceless Void teleport out, which could be valuable if they want to make another move with the Storm Spirit Shield Rune here. Damn, Zayats has just been continually getting these deep wards out.
Yeah.
Just smoked himself to obs this Radiant Triangle.
I'm down with the solo smoke play to get vision down sometimes, but that's only if you really have like smokes you're not using, which I feel like Navi definitely want to be making moves. Yeah, that's true. He backed up, re-smoked some people off of the remaining duration. He's going to make this Blink Dagger to catch the Kunkka. Got out the Blade Mail, but there is just simply too much damage from too many units for that Blade Mail to really have an effect here.
Actually kind of a sick sequence from Zayats there.
Yeah.
Like solo smoke, plants his ward, backs up, then smokes the Centaur TPing in with Blink. Freshly done. And they go back to the ward that was planted. It's like a double smoke almost or something. Off one.
Yeah, it was. Pretty interesting.
Alright, this game's evened up a bit. Navi done a decent job stabilizing versus this pretty damn strong Storm. Finds an Arcane Rune with Kaya done, so once more Squadix is incredibly strong if you can find the connections with the supports on top of him. But Navi not giving many openings.
I don't know if Sayush is trying to, he's really trying to build this mech first before going for the shard, which I thought that was like half of the reason why you have gyrocopter support is you try and buy out the shard like as soon as possible because it's so potent that early.
I mean, the counterpoint is if you buy mech and win a team fight, you'll get the shard, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. They know about the
this is,
smoke from Squadix and Sayush. They ran into a mine. It immediately got pinged out by Zayat, so...
They're going to try and go
They're
on
still
the
going to try and go for the
storm.
storm. They actually hit him with a stomp, but they don't have enough stuns. So they get a reaction, I guess. That's good enough,
that's not
and
too
they
bad.
can fall back to their mines.
Got the rune out of him as well. I mean, you got to remember, I don't think Navi are too pressed to make something crazy happen during this time period. They just want to dodge the smokes, nullify the advantage, get their void more net worth, and they're pretty happy. They're going back to that obs from earlier, and they're going to get the Kunkka a second time. 2 for 1.
Yeah, I guess they maybe thought that was just a smoke ink. But I feel like every smoke ink in the triangle, whether the ward was there beforehand or it's laid afterwards, I feel like the vision always goes down when you smoked a triangle, right?
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
They just didn't find it. They get heavily punished for it.
Oh, the Pango's
rune,
found.
they'll get the rune.
Gotta be careful of those mines on the high ground. Hit the stomp on the storm, and he'll die just like that. Nefrit catches another one out. FNG with a pretty decent freezing field, but is going to lack the damage. Yuragi comes in. He's like, I'm ready to go, guys. I'm ready to hit a Chronosphere finally in this game. Wait, you guys already won the fight without me. Damn. All right.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
That is a bad fight to lose if you're VP. Like, all your Storm Spirit momentum is gone in this game.
Middle tower is
This
under
Orchid
attack.
timing that you thought you had, it's not good enough because you already have defensive items from the 2 supports. You have Glimmer on the Pugna plus the Life Drain Decrep. You have Mech already done on the Techies. There's Stampede and Chrono that were always going to be there. It just doesn't feel potent anymore. Now the upside is you can always just keep taking these fights. Like, you have your Radiance Lifestealer. There's no downtime here. Kiritich is the most farmed hero in the game. It's just been hitting some creeps. So maybe you got to use the combination of Storm and the Lifestealer here to bounce back. They're going to look for the Void. No Dispel.
Yeah, they'll finally catch him. I mean, FNG did some angry drawing after they lost that mid-fight about playing in the side lanes, and they immediately do just that and are rewarded with a Faceless Void kill and now a Centaur kill. And almost a Zayat's kill there as well. He managed to blast off back to the tier 2, though.
Some serious healing. I think that was Mech plus a Greater Lotus.
Dire's top tower is under
Instantly
attack.
pop that Lifestealer back up to full. So, good turn from the VP. Try and regain some momentum here. Again, I think they have to play like this. Like, if you lose a fight, you can't just be deterred and sit back. You have to just go again. Especially if you can find the Faceless Void. Or if you get a fight where they use Chrono. It's not the end of the world, right? You get Chrono goes on cooldown. Okay, now you have a window to just go find stuff on the map. Force a Roche, do whatever.
Yeah, that was the biggest thing for me, right? Is like, if you can get that, if you can get another kill on the Faceless Void, or you get him to use Chronosphere without the enemy team being able to get Roshan, getting Roche, getting an Aegis, getting a second life for Storm Spirit has got to be massive for them.
It'd be huge in this game. I mean, their team just isn't the fastest at doing it, so you gotta win a fight off it.
Yeah.
Which means you have to be bold, you have to keep forcing the action. You do have the Ags and the Kunkka now. So this might signal another move. And it looks like it will. They're gonna bring Squad X to Kiritich. Shield Rune on the Storm. Torrent Storm online. 21-minute Wisdom Rune picked up by FNG. It's go time. Infest, Shield Rune, Storm. That is an insane amount of HP.
They saw Sanctity on the mid, but he popped his Illusion Rune and used the illusions to push out the lane. Mine goes off. They, I don't think anybody pinged it from the side of Navi, but it does look like they know where the Centaur is and they're going to catch him. So not a massive window, but it's a little something to work with for sure. I don't think that's enough for them to go through a portal and take Roche, but maybe.
I don't think it's enough to do the Roche, but you want to get lanes in here and you want to go for another pickoff if you can. Might try for something bottom.
Keep the momentum going. Keep the number advantage. And they're going to find it too. There's no doubt Zayas is going to run into some of these heroes. And as soon as he's spotted, the Storm will collect on the kill. I like that Squadix waited to see if somebody else would show. They did not. Would have been much nicer for them to be able to find the Pango kill. Oh, and also, maybe he didn't have an illusion rune. He has a Manta on Pango.
He's pretty farmed, honestly, all things considered.
Yeah, he is.
I mean, I still think Sanctity and Yuragi are both having pretty solid games here. Like, for a defensive-oriented game where they haven't looked for much, they've kind of just sat back and farmed, gotten their levels. This Void is level 15. I mean, he's kind of chilling. If he gets the BKB here, plus Mjolnir, plus level 20, there isn't really a good answer for him. Outside of, you just start the fight on your terms, and then maybe that Chrono's awkward for him.
Is there ever a time where they really want to take and force fights if objectives aren't being taken by BP? Or can they just kind of like infinitely just like chill and farm?
I mean, they can definitely take the action to them, but I don't think they're under pressure to.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of... Again, like, as long as the Chrono is up, Na'Vi are happier with that game state than if the Chrono is down. So if you're going to make a move, and it even if it works, but it's not good enough, it could open up Roche for VP. There's a lot of risk in them making something aggressive. Gonna try and catch the Pango down here again. It's close.
Almost, but not quite. BKB next for Natus. He's got his Aghanims completed. I mean, with the Ags, if you get BKB on Squadix and the Kunkka, I feel like you force the Roshan even if Chronosphere's up, you know? I feel like you're kind of... You can't wait any longer to get that objective going, you know?
I would agree.
We'll catch the Centaur. Oh, they won't catch the Centaur.
They
That
won't.
Braid is just outside of vision. Oof.
I will say, like, Kiritich is getting really big. And this Radiance evasion is... It's annoying. It's a lot better than it used to be. These carry-on-carry matchups aren't as good. Like, he's got 3,000 HP with 35% evasion, effectively. That's a lot for the Void to get through. Does have his BKB,
But is he even
though,
going
so
to
it's
worry
go
about...
time.
Is he even going to worry about fighting the Lifestealer? I feel like if you're the Faceless Void and Na'Vi in general, you just are going to go Storm in the backline supports, and then after that, you can deal with everybody else.
I would agree. I think if the Lifestealer was like half HP and you chrono him, he probably dies, but outside of that, it's not worth it. And I mean, they're the ones looking for Roche now. They're just going to force the issue. It does get instantly scanned. This is not an objective you give up if you're a VP right now.
No, certainly not. A VP was closing in on their BKBs. Really wanted to get that, but there is no time for that. Roshan dying too fast, and they would also be walking into a bunch of mines, so not gonna happen. Oda's gonna run in there, but Roshan's gonna die as he kind of explores with the torrents. Storm not gonna go for the zip.
Snatched.
Oh, he actually got the last hit on Roshan with the torrent.
What a gangster.
Damn.
Oh, they're going to take the fight regardless.
FNG will die now as they tried to run away after a team fight, which is never Crystal Maiden's forte.
No. And they'll just bail. I mean, that's a... I mean, you get the Roche, but honestly, I don't think Na'Vi care too much, right? Like, that's a Roche that they... I don't want to say they had no business getting in this game, but...
Dude, Natus
to the degree they got it.
Natus is on Natus right now. Like, that man ran into so many mines. There was a heads up from Na'Vi going like, guys, this guy is low, low, low.
He ran into 6 mines and took 3,000 damage.
Yeah.
Zayas just basically solo killed a 3,000 HP Kunkka.
Yeah, man. That minus
that's not
magic
right, dude.
resistance is no joke.
That is just not right. Like, what?
I mean, the man also has no magic resistance to begin with, right? So he hits one mine, and then every mine after that is practically doing pure damage.
Oh, I understand the math, but I'm saying the fact that happened is a little absurd. Walk into a free centaur.
Centaur is just dead. They used the Stampede to okay, Glimmer Cape save. And no detection. A little bit skittish about taking the fight. After all, they're fighting into a Navi team that has this Aegis, has Chronosphere, and it's finally put to use. Catches the Stormfield right on the edge, but they have the Infest. So the Infest heal goes off. Squadix is full HP with his BKB. Now going to wear out, but Sanctity goes to the TP off the Rolling Thunder. Barely makes it out before the Rolling Thunder expires. While Yuragi is in trouble. He's going to go for a desperate TP. If he dies here, he's going to die twice. And he does. They kill him just before the TP completes. And now I just cannot see a way for him to get out of this.
He leapt to like the one spot with no tree. Otherwise, I think he gets out there because the stuns are pretty limited. And there we see like why this Chronosphere is not an end-all be-all in this game. A lot of EHP. Boat comes through, Mech comes through, Infest on the Storm, he's BKB'd. That Chrono just did nothing. And that is why Na'Vi, I think we're happy with this game getting stalled, because they need some more late game damage.
What's pretty surprising to me how little damage they actually did there. I mean, even if they caught the Lifestealer and he didn't get off the Infest, the Storm Shirt still lives in that situation. I mean, the Infest is 1200 HP, but yeah.
Like, if he's BKB'd plus extra evasion, you're just not doing any damage to him. This Void is currently only doing damage through the Time Lock plus Maelstrom proc, which is all magic. He doesn't do that much physical. And I think this is part of where we saw Lifestealer rise so fast over the course of DreamLeague, because these carry matchups that used to just dumpster him do not seem as one-sided anymore to me. Every time I watch them, it just... The new Radiance helps tremendously. The hero's EHP through like the Infest save is way bigger. I think neutral items make a key difference as well. This hero's just tanky, dude. Like, he just walks into you, and what do you do? Again, he's walking into your whole team here.
that was some insane, like, you know, homeland. You can't take my land from me. He just sat around a whole bunch of mines in a corner and said, "Come take it from me."
No, they took it from him. It's Lifestealer don't care. Almost level 20 now.
The bulldozer that is Kiritich pushes through Na'Vi, and it feels like Na'Vi that they need to be able to push for time where they have the Mjolnir and level 20 on Yuragi. I mean, you always point to that level 20 talent as being a pretty massive one for Faceless Void's progression.
So he finishes Mjolnir, but yeah, they just need way more damage here. You cannot underestimate how much this Lifestealer is doing in these fights in terms of preventing good targeting.
Well, and the problem is nobody's going to give him that damage, right? Like the Pango, no matter how much more you itemize, I guess there's the level 20 talent, but that's kind of it. You don't really, the damage that you put into the Chronosphere is not actually going to change as the game goes on. Centaur,
nope.
Obviously nothing. The supports might be able to help out, but it won't be that much more.
It's the downside of the Pango here. His synergy with them is good as another ranged mid would have been, but it gives you another fight starter. As VP are just going to smoke, and they have the Kunkka BKB.
FNG, he'll just take the brunt of that initiation, walks in, and immediately dies. They go for the Chronosphere, but look at this damage. It is pathetic. The Rolling Thunder is going to have to hit a few more times to have a chance, but it's the Faceless Void who dies first, and he gets off the Infest and the Lifestealer, so he's perfectly fine. They do manage to kill the Storm Spirit, but the Lifestealer is going to pop out soon. I feel like he could actually take this fight. I guess he's not that
healing.
1800 HP, and he has open wounds back up, and they're going to buy back on the Crystal Maiden to go for this one. Sanctity, they're trying to get the heal off, but it's not good enough. And now the Freezing Field from the Crystal Maiden, rather, combined with the nice use of the Crystal Clone, will hold the Centaur in place and get him killed as well. So Na'Vi, I'm not sure what exactly the read of that situation was from their side, but just looking at it, like Heritage is just healing up inside the Kunkka the whole time. That was a ticking time bomb, to be sure.
Yeah, there's no way you can chase there, underestimating the HP that is going to come out. And I mean, that Chrono, it looks kind of awkward because you're not actually killing the life in it, but it did waste his rage duration, and then he's getting chain stunned by the Pango. If he gets stunned again and can't get Infest off, he probably dies there, but again, just too goddamn tanky. He just hops in his Kunkka, and it's a completely different fight. Tough fight for Na'Vi, and I mean, Kirtich ends up doing almost 8,000 damage in that engagement. Just burning people down, right-clicking them down. He has a full nullifier now, so these decrep saves no longer there. This is a really good nullifier game. And as we mentioned, you lose a fight with Chrono, you're not doing anything on that cooldown. So VP have 40-second window here if they want to just force the go. Do some Rage X.
Yeah, there's no counter to that on Na'Vi. You don't have Eels or anything, so that can be done infinitely. I always wonder why teams don't, like, if you have that kind of play, why don't you just keep doing it until the barracks dies, you know?
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Well, they might.
Well, not right now. They backed off, took a tier 2 bottom.
Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
Natus is going to X himself instead.
I mean, to be honest, it's not that efficient. Like, you know, you are giving up some farm time on other heroes. You're risking getting flank smoked and them jumping where you came from. There's some counterplay to it. I mean, this game, it might be pretty free, but from VP's point of view, if they win another fight, they probably win this game. I think that's probably how they feel. They have
I
Ags
guess
on
some
the
of it
storm now.
comes
level
down
20.
to the fact that super creeps are completely whatever objective. You know, I feel
Yeah,
like
that
they
as
just
well.
don't matter like 90% of
Yeah,
games.
they don't. I mean, every Dota player now is like, you lose a Rax, who cares? I don't care, you know? Whatever.
Yeah.
It changes pretty much nothing. So, if you're the enemy, why waste your time? Like I always say, you know, you're not going to win this game by taking Raxes. You're going to win this game by winning the fight.
Right.
So you should play for the better fight rather than for the Rax. And if taking that Rax means you end up in a bad fight, potentially, that is how you throw a game.
Oh, no, he dropped to Chronosphere. I could see it coming a mile away. I was like, man, that Storm's going to jump on this creep wave because he has a regen going. And Yuragi's right there. What are the chances he just sees the Storm and instantly tries to Chronosphere? What's going to happen there? And unfortunately for Yuragi, the answer was Squadix zipped out before the Chrono landed, and now they're immediately going to smoke up on the side of Virtus.pro. They're like, well, this is a golden opportunity.
Absolutely try and make something happen here. Worst case scenario, you clear the map out for Roshan. That's coming up soon.
Zip, zip, zip. Stampede will get the Pugnut back, thanks in part to the Glimmer Cape, so they will get a ward out of that, which is still helpful. Like you said, clears out the map, helps control for Roshan, which is going to spawn. In fact, could be up right now, so Virtus.pro
Look at the mines
definitely
up
going to be
here.
heading to that corner.
Zayat's been doing some work, preparing the defenses.
I like
He's
to
gonna try and lure
imagine
Noticed in.
whenever a Techies does this, I imagine he's the same guy who's like, taxation is theft. You pry it from my cold dead hand sort of guy, you know?
Well, they're gonna pry it
He
from his
jumps
dead
to the
hand
other
'cause-
side to where all more mines are. Unfortunately, he gets people low, but he doesn't kill them. He almost kills Gyrocopter. He gets Squadix down to half.
Is this
But
enough to
his
take the
team is too
fight?
far away. Well, not with the
I mean, they have
Infest.
no
Not
chrono.
anymore. They're just gonna blind Rolling Thunder. They miss. He tried to go for the Storm Spirit, didn't land. They're gonna get
Well,
the
FNG
Crystal
gave it to
Maiden,
him.
sure, but now the jump in with the Aghanim Scepter from this combo of Squatters Kiritich, almost bringing down Malady with a nullifier. They'll be able to catch up to him. That open wound's gonna bounce around while the Orchid helps take down Sanctity. Yuragi tries to get away with a time walk, now gonna be brought right back, so the Centaur has to come in, but it means they're all grouped up for the Torrent. They're all grouped up for the Electric Vortex. They can buy back more heroes if they want, but they will just add more food for Kiritich to munch on. Double kill for Squadix, a big fight for Virtus.pro that is likely leading to the end of the game. I don't know if that's a reconnect or a rage quit.
Might be both here, as they're going to X the Storm back. There's your mana refill. Kiritich is just untouchable. And I also feel like Na'Vi just... They didn't play that as patient as they needed to, right? Like, obviously, Zayat's losing his minds and stuff. Unfortunate. There's nothing you can do about that. But the smoke coming in, I think you have to play for VP to go in the pit and stall this fight so your Chrono comes back up. Because they just took that fight with Chrono 50 seconds off cooldown. That is... You're never winning that fight. In a million years, you won't win that fight. Like, the way you win that fight is you bait the push. Things get kind of weird. Maybe Roche gets low. Chrono comes off cooldown because it gets stalled just long enough. And you can hit with it coming up. And maybe you can stick Chrono there and win that fight around the pit. But in the open area like that, into BKBs, just hoping this Pango World chain stun somebody is... That was... That was... I mean, I understand why they risk it, because they feel Roche here, the game's over, but gave up Roche without them having the risk of going for Roche, which I think feels a little bad.
Well, Kiritich is going to start going to work on the buildings, and there's going to be multiple of them that fall in this push. We've got 35 seconds to do as much damage as they can, so that's probably going to be 2 lanes. Definitely not the fastest objective takers in the game, but
it's fast enough. You have Chrono up when you respawn here, and you're not going to get Megas. There's still Roshan to claim on the map. So if you don't want to die here somehow, the worst case scenario. But it is to die here.
Yeah.
Full Abyssal done. Here. He is just 700 GPM. Stealer, that is the business right there. That is the business. He's giving it to him.
Yeah.
Almost level 25. I also feel like this 25 talent is insanely good. Like a strength carry. I feel like most strength carries don't have good 25s.
Which one?
This rage duration.
Oh, okay. Smoke breaks. Rolling Thunder. They actually do manage to hit the stomp. No Rolling Thunder to follow it up. Yuragi's not pulling the trigger on the Chronosphere right now, but his teammate is dying to the Lifestealer. Yeah, he's getting pretty annoying. Yuragi finally pops the BKB, looks for an opportunity. Chronosphere's the 2 supports. Not the best, but not the worst. It'll get 2 kills out of it. They're playing the long haul, though. Kiritich is going to be able to just cleave through any hero that he can get his hands on. Right now, he's looking for Yuragi. Can't quite find him. Now Stampede's going to go off. Pulled in by the Storm Spirit. Oh, the Time Walk, it's not going to go off. He gets torrented into a tidal wave on top of that one. Kiritich is actually struggling, though. Oh, no, he's not. Open wounds is going off. Man's healing far too much. They can't stop him. Maybe Nefri. No, Squadix is going to come in, help him out. They are lacking on mana. That is the only thing that's stopping Virtus.pro from going for more here. Actually took a little bit of time to get the Lotuses to look for more. Sanctity, he's got a little bit of mana to work with and might be able to find the Pango here.
Pango might find him if he gets the mana burn first.
Oh, found him on the TP. Too much
Blinker
damage.
Wait there.
Yeah.
My God, dude. I mean, that was almost a comeback fight from Na'Vi. It's like they got Kunkka by both supports in the cry what you're looking for. Yuragi was real close to getting another time off. Squadix doesn't late fight. I think Na'Vi win that just straight up. They were really low on resources. Really heads up clutch plays by Squadix here. And take these late games. fight. So much of that started with Kirtis just killing the Centaur 100-0 off Abyssal into stun into he could not BKB Stampede at all. It's just disgusting.
And that team fight is going to lead to the potential final push here. No Chronosphere up for another 25 seconds. That should leave more than enough time for Virtus.pro to take Megas. Now, Navi, again, super creeps don't really mean too much, and I feel like mega creeps mean less than they've ever mattered before in Dota's history. So, definitely possible that Navi just play out the Megas matchup.
They are still very good, though. Like, I think your win rate when you get Megas is probably over 80 or 90%. Like,
Okay,
no matter
but
what.
how much do you think Megas by itself pops that win rate up? Like, I feel like when you take Megas, it's usually just a sign of the times, you know, of like how much
No,
of
I
an
think it's a
advantage you
significant
have.
It's a significant boost. Like, Megas are really strong because I honestly think teams are just bad at using them a lot of times too. Like, when you go for these final pushes and you have Megas, you're supposed to let the waves push in as much as possible. It forces heroes to show. It will force them to show almost everybody a lot of times. And you just take a weird angle in the base and you get a good jump, right? Like, that's what it gives you. But a lot of times I feel like people just don't use this at all. Like, they go when lanes aren't in. They just jump like the first guy they see when his team could just be sitting behind him. Like, you just have to play a bit more patient and let the Megas do the work. And it's a pretty significant advantage because you have to show multiple heroes eventually. Like, you can't just infinitely smoke or hide in your fountain. So
all right, well, let's
see what
see
they can do here.
Virtus.pro, how they use these Megas. They certainly want the Megas to push in. Otherwise, they are walking into a bit of a DMZ set up by Zayat.
He's back to the mining.
Head out for the Pango. Nice Glimmer for Staff, and they get the Chronosphere on 2 here. Controlling the Life Stealer and going for the Crystal Maiden. They got the Stomp right behind him as well. Yuragi tries to fight the Life Stealer and decides against it. Got pulled back by the X. The BKB just doesn't last long enough, and Natus is going to go for more with the Tidal Wave, pushing back these heroes, while Sanctity trying to deal with this Nullifier situation. The Rolling Thunder runs out, though. He does manage to burn out the rest of Squad X's mana. Unfortunately, there is a missile coming for him, and there is nothing he can do to stop it. They're going to do an quick trip back to Fountain for the Storm Spirit, so he's got full resources. They're going to jump in the meanwhile, but Squad X is back into play. Grabs the 2 cores right